Collision behind the scenes storm. Jamie Dornan's family rejects Dakota. Can love withstand the pressure? Los Angeles, a summer afternoon. Sunlight streamed through the glass windows of the Beverly Hills Hotel, where Jamie Dornan sat waiting for someone. He was wearing a white shirt, twirling a cup of coffee in his hands, his eyes on the busy street outside. Dakota Johnson walked in, her brown hair loose, her blue eyes shining when she saw him. "Have you been waiting long?" she asked softly. "No," Jamie replied, standing up and pulling out a chair for her. "I was just thinking about everything." Dakota smiled slightly, but the smile was forced. She knew that the everything he was referring to were the cold phone calls, the unfinished conversations with his family over the past few weeks. "You don't deserve this," Jamie said softly, his hand squeezing hers. "Don't say that. I understand, our situation isn't easy." She tried to keep her voice calm, but there was an undercurrent of turmoil inside. They had been through some great times together. Long shoots, award ceremonies where the world watched them. But behind the flashbulbs, the applause and the praise, there was another, more brutal truth. Jamie's family disapproved of Dakota. The rumors began to spread when a British magazine published the following story. The Dornan family is concerned that Jamie's relationship with Dakota Johnson is just a Hollywood backstage fling. The article cited sources close to Jamie's Irish parents, who said they didn't want their son involved in a controversial relationship with an actress who came from a prestigious family but was known for her free-spirited artistic lifestyle. Jamie smiled when he read the article, but his smile didn't last long. That same evening, his mother called. "Son," she said softly but with a hint of something in her voice, "I've seen a lot of pictures of you and her online. Are you sure this is what you want?" "Yes, Mom," Jamie replied, trying to keep his composure. "Dakota is a good person. You only need to meet her once, and you'll understand." "Maybe," his mother said, "but I'm afraid your world is very different from the one I grew up in." Jamie didn't answer. He knew arguing would only make things worse, between two worlds. A week later, Dakota arrived in Belfast. She wanted to meet his family, despite all the advice to let time heal. The Dornan family home was in the middle of a peaceful suburb, surrounded by meadows and birdsong. When Dakota walked in, she could feel everyone's wary eyes on her. Jamie's mother, a kind but stern woman, smiled at her. "Hello, Dakota. You must be tired from the journey." "Yes, but it's not tiring to see us," Dakota replied sincerely. The dinner was polite but tense. Jamie tried to make conversation, recounting happy childhood memories, but every time Dakota spoke, his father looked down at his plate, and his mother changed the subject. After the meal, when the two women were alone in the kitchen, Dakota mustered up the courage to say, "Auntie, I know I'm probably not the person you wanted for Jamie, but I really care about him." Jamie's mother was silent for a moment, then said slowly, "You're a lovely girl, Dakota. But your lives are full of temptations and storms. As a mother, I'm just afraid my son will be swept away by them." Dakota nodded, her eyes shining with sadness. "I understand, but sometimes, people just need a little trust, and they can weather the storm." The older woman paused, but the silence continued until Jamie stepped in, taking Dakota's hand and leaving. The door closed behind her. In the car, Dakota looked out the window, her eyes glistening with tears. Jamie put his hand on her shoulder. "I'm sorry. They just need time." "It's okay," Dakota said softly, her voice trembling. "I'm just afraid time will push them further away from you." Jamie squeezed her hand gently. "No, I won't let that happen. But inside him, a vague worry began to form, the feeling that his happiness was standing on the line between love and duty. Lights, cameras, and whispers. When they returned to Los Angeles, the media began to follow. Paparazzi took pictures of Jamie taking Dakota to the airport. The next day's headline read, "The Dornans say no to Dakota Johnson. Is this love strong enough to survive?" Jamie hung up the phone and threw the newspaper on the table. Dakota stepped closer and took his hand. "Don't let them get you down. I don't care what they say." He looked at her for a long time, then said softly, "I'm just afraid I'll hurt you, because of things I can't control." Dakota shook her head, smiling sadly. "True love isn't afraid of being hurt, Jamie. It's afraid of not being trusted." Outside, the city lights were bright, but in that apartment, the two of them had only each other, and a vague fear was growing. The following weeks were more chaotic than Jamie could have imagined. Newspapers, social media, and gossip TV shows were all about his relationship with Dakota. Dakota Johnson turned against the Dornan family. Love transcends Hollywood, or is it just a game of lights? The headlines kept coming, and though he tried to ignore them, they crept into his every moment of the day, like whispers that couldn't be silenced. Cracks in the silence. One evening, Jamie returned home from a long commercial shoot. The lights in the apartment were soft, and Dakota was sitting on the sofa, her eyes glued to her phone screen. He recognized it immediately. It was a new interview with his mother. In the video, the woman spoke softly, but her words were like a knife. "Jamie is a family man. I just hope he chooses someone with the same background, the same values." Dakota said nothing. She just put the phone down on the table, staring into space. Jamie moved closer, his voice hoarse. "I didn't know she would say that. I'm sorry, really." "It's not your fault," Dakota said softly. "It's just, I don't know if I have the strength to prove that I'm not who they think I am." Jamie sat down next to her. "I don't need to prove anything. They're just afraid of losing you, that's all." "But what if I lose you because of them?" she asked, her eyes filled with fear. He couldn't answer. The question hung in the air, heavy like a storm yet to come. Midnight call, late at night. When Dakota was asleep, Jamie's phone rang. It was his father. "Jamie, we need to talk." The man on the other end of the phone was low, cold, and decisive. "You're getting yourself into trouble. Your mother can't sleep. The press is shaming the whole family. You have to think about the family's honor." Jamie gripped the phone. "I love her, Dad. She makes me happy. Love isn't enough to keep a home, son. Don't let a momentary emotion destroy what you've built your whole life around." "Not a momentary emotion," Jamie burst out, his voice choking, but on the other end, there was only a sigh. "I hope you wake up before it's too late." The call ended. Jamie sat quietly in the darkness. His father's words echoed, reverberating. He turned to look at Dakota sleeping, her face so peaceful it made his heart ache. He thought to himself, if love is wrong, why does it hurt so much to let go? Rumors and new wounds. The next morning, a major newspaper published a picture of Dakota with a male colleague at a movie premiere. The headline read, "Dakota Johnson seeks comfort with co-star as Jamie Dornan confronts family." Jamie threw the newspaper down, his eyes red. "They want to put you in the eye of the storm, Dakota. They want you to look like a traitor." She was silent, then whispered, "They only do that when they know you can make me choose you over them." "I don't choose anyone," Jamie said. "I just want people to stop hurting you." Dakota smiled, a bitter smile. Sometimes, just stopping isn't enough. They have to believe. He squeezed her hand. Then I'll make them believe. Back in Belfast. A month later, Jamie decided to return to Belfast, alone. He needed to face his parents, all the things he hadn't said. When he entered the old house, his mother was making tea in the kitchen. She looked at her son, smiling, but her eyes were sad. "You're home?" "Yes," Jamie said. "I need to talk about Dakota." She put down her teacup, silent. His father walked in, arms folded. "Go ahead. I love her," Jamie said firmly. "Not because she's a star, or because someone said she was beautiful. I love the way she sees the world, the way she makes me feel like I can be better." His father chuckled. "But are you sure she loves you, not just the image of you?" "You're wrong," Jamie said, his voice low but firm. "Dakota is the only one who sees you when the lights are off. She loves you for who you are, more than you believe you deserve." The room fell silent. Then his mother said softly, "Son, love can be beautiful, but it cannot exist without a foundation. She doesn't belong here. You will lose yourself." Jamie bowed his head. He knew they weren't mean. They were just afraid that their son would be hurt like so many others in that glamorous world. But he also knew that if he didn't stand up for what he believed in, he would lose himself. Before leaving, he turned and said, "I don't need him to like her. I just need him to believe that I know what I'm doing." Then he walked out, closing the door behind him, a sound that echoed in his heart like an end to the silence. Meanwhile in Los Angeles, Dakota received news of Jamie's arrival in Belfast from the press. She knew this was the moment of reckoning. Either they would be accepted, or they would be lost forever. She didn't call him. She just sat by the window of her apartment, watching the city lights stretch out. A tear fell silently. "Honey," she whispered, "I just hope they understand. I never wanted to take you away from my family. I just want to enter your world without fear." Outside, it started to rain, Los Angeles rain, a rare but persistent rain, like their love, fragile, but not easily lost.